So, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. And this is a special series that we've started through the Inali South Asia program. And it's a dialogue series where we're bringing together to you global library leaders who can share with you their innovative ways of actually spearing libraries differently. So the intention here is for you to have dialogue with them, ask questions, understand better as to how in their countries they're making a difference, not just for themselves, but also for the library and the communities itself. So today we have the first speaker of this series, who is also an innovator just like you from the Inali program. She was highly recommended by one of the most popular how do I say? She's actually very popular among the innovators group. Her name is Miss June Gracia. I wish we get a chance to also have her come into this space and have a discussion and share her experience as well. She had actually introduced me to this innovator while I have met Spaska a couple of times in international forums, but it brings me greater delight to know that she's also an excellent performer in the Inali platform. So today, please help me welcome Spaska Tarandova. She is actually the executive director of Global Libraries Bulgaria Foundation. She's been working in the field of public library for close to 28 years, so you can see the vast experience she brings with us. And it has been mostly with the Sofia City Library, and she's also worn different hats. So she's also played the role of a deputy director. And she's been serving as an executive director of the Global Libraries Bulgaria Foundation, where they work with 960 public libraries in Bulgaria. And their intention is to strengthen the access of, making connectivity more easily available for their communities by large. She also is a trainer. She's able to facilitate and provide more insights on how you can strengthen yourself in your professional space. And she also is a member of the Bulgarian Library and Information Association. She's also the board member of the PLS Standing Committee of the IFLA Foundation. So today she's here with us to share her experience of libraries in Bulgaria, leadership in environment and education. Please help me welcome Spaska. Spaska, over to you. Thank you so much for coming.
First of all, Priyanka and all colleagues from the South Asia, thank you for the invitation to be part of our workshop regarding to the education programs in the environment. Let's start with my presentation. I move quickly because Priyanka introduce but I want to share some background about the libraries in Bulgaria. Actually, in Bulgaria, we have around 2,800 public libraries, and it's included the national libraries, 27 regional libraries, and small community libraries in the villages in the country is almost 2,800. Okay, it's our network. It's included 1,008 public libraries. What is important for our network is that the goals of the Global Libraries Bulgaria Foundation is access to computers, information, knowledge through public libraries for all citizens in Bulgaria, and especially these from disadvantaged groups. Because of that, we included in our network mainly the libraries for small villages and settlements. The mission of Bulgarian Global Libraries Foundation is to encourage the joining of the Bulgarian citizens to global information society regarding our goals and the needs of public libraries in Bulgaria. Foundation is working toward two priority objectives: enhancing the capacity of library workers and to introduce of new services reflecting the needs of local community through promoting local partnership. When we talk about the sustainability, is not a synonym of environmentalism. We need three components when we talk for the environmental sustainability. It means using resources and interacting with the nature world.
Please, open your mic.
Environmental sustainability means using resources and interacting with the natural world in ways that will not reduce what is available to future generations. What is doing green means to pursue knowledge and practices that can lead to more environmentally friendly, ecologically responsible decisions and lifestyles which can help to protect environment. What is to be green? Green is about sustainability. Going green is making choices that protect, preserve, and replenish the resources. For me, today's slogan is let's consume resources at a rate not faster than they can renew themselves. Generate waste at a rate no faster than can be assimilated by the environment. Libraries have power to change people's behavior, especially children behavior. What we are doing in Bulgaria in this area, a primary role of library is to connect people with the information that they need, to share practical ideas for how to be green, teach green, elite green, introduce environmentally friendly, money-safe initiatives that fit your existing buildings and services, provide ideas for hands-on initiatives that will help you raise green awareness, offer ideas on how to get your community involved. It's the map of Bulgaria. You see the logo of the first library, who is 2007 Silistra Regional Library faced the challenges to participate in the European competition for energy saving. The objectives of competition were to stimulate the employees to save energy in the buildings they work through organizational measure. In the competition were 153 participants from all member states of the European Union. The duration of the competition was 1 year, and participants had to save as much as possible electric energy, health energy, and water. And I'm happy to share that the regional library Silistra was the winner in the two categories: largest amount of energy saved, and the most importantly, the library was winner among all 153 participants for the best motivation campaign. During the 1 year of the competition, the library staff learned to value and save energy resources not only in the library building, but also in their homes. Important factors for winning the prize were the information campaign and competition organized also for the library users. Years later, the Bulgarian Library and Information Associations launched a national campaign, Make Your Library Green, is in the Cyrillic, the logo and the slogan of the campaign. The goals of campaign was the environmental leadership, so what is mean libraries to become example in eco-friendly practices. Libraries to become a community leaders in environmental education. Also, library to increase the community awareness of environmentally friendly practices through library programs, including use of social media and crowdsourcing. And also, library to move the community in action to create community partnership for sustainable development. You know that in September 2015, the General Assembly of United Nations adopted the Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals 2030 that included 70 Sustainable Development Goals. Libraries are key institutions for achieving the goals, in my opinion. You know that in the last few years, IFLA and National Libraries Associations all over the world become active, involving with the creations of United Nations agenda, advocating for the inclusion of access to information, safeguarding of cultural heritage, and universal literacy. In the age of disinformation, alternative facts restrict information, libraries have a crucial role for information literacy. Communities can be able to reach and make decisions based on relevant information to maintain sustainable development. Environmental literacy is a part of information literacy. It is the ability to recognize that one's choices impact the environment, to identify the most sustainable solution for the situation, to be able to act in the most environmentally friendly way on the solution. Public libraries have the opportunity to educate their community in environmental literacy by examples to education and by providing access to information about doing green. And environmental literacy is one of the main activities of Bulgarian libraries. Fact is that the library buildings are old and their transformation into green building is hard or not possible. What can we do to get closer to the green ideas? We can be more socially responsible in managing resources and services by establishing environmentally friendly practices in the library facility. One of the ways in this direction is to decrease paper usage by frosting paper catalog and using only online catalog in the libraries. Another e-services for the library's customers is using online platform for a reservation or prolonging the terms of the books. By using this service, customers do not have to visit the library and as a result, help decrease energy use for transport. Some libraries trying to use and implement energy saving measures. Some of the big electricity and heat consumers in the library building have been replaced with the new one, energy saving. But we also switch off the lights when we don't need much light, turn off computers when no one works on them, reduce the temperature of heaters in the rooms. Simple decisions, but energy saving. Library also can increase community awareness of environmentally friendly practices through library programming, becoming a community leader in environmental education. When we get to know the nature, we will learn that all plants and animals have their purpose. In the circle of the nature, it turns out that only we people are pests and pollution. And one of the most important things is to learn how to protect the nature. Why around us get to know and protect. It is the name of the project of one regional library in Bulgaria. Students and teachers visit the Wildlife Resource Center in the Green Balkans Association. Library organized lessons on the rare and protected birds that live near us. Students from 4 to 7 degree learn about birds, the reasons for that, why the birds are useful for the people, and how we can save them. They turn over the pages in the Bulgaria Red Book with many more rare and protected animals. Every year, Regional Library in Vidin organize lessons to explore the tree in the neighborhood and their significance in nature. Students learn easily by playing games. One of them is the gardening of the trees, the garden trees to catch children running around. If the children is near the tree, he or she will say, I'm protected from the tree, and have to tell more about that tree. The community library Kazanlak create Green Classroom, a special space in the library where children have ecology education. The library is preferred place during the summer vacations. Students and librarians make bio garden with more than 40 plants for children to grow. Children planted plants in pots for green areas in the library. One of the most important things we need to learn is to use natural resources responsibility and not to pollute nature around us. One of the lessons that students learn every year, provided by Vidin regional libraries, is about the pollution of the Dnieper River and the runs by city. The dangers of plastic pollution is irresponsible use of plastic bags and bottles of water are the topics of the information campaign in the Silistra regional libraries organized in cooperation with schools. How high school students learn about the reasons for the world ocean pollution and the dangers for the wild animals. Why do we need to stop using these two biggest plastic polluters? Summer education programs against environmental pollution organized in every library. Sofia City Libraries organizes Save the Earth summer reading program that help children adopt eco practices through reading of relevant texts essay written, and craft workshops. In order to reduce the use of plastic bags, children from these small community libraries make their own reusable bags from the old jeans. Bulgarian libraries usually collect paper separately. Every year, libraries collaborate in eco-initiatives for paper recycling. People in Bulgaria collect more than 7 tons of paper during the campaign Old Paper for New Books every year. And another initiatives of the regional libraries in Burgas that I want to share with you is because after 10 years, you mentioned that Bulgarian libraries won competition in 2007. In 2017, another initiative of Bulgarian libraries was awarded by the IFEL in the Library and Innovation Services. The idea was to collect plastic materials, and in this way, the library raised funds for the purchase of 3D printed materials. Several of regional libraries' goals are to raise children's awareness about the need to protect the environment and encourage recycling and to change children's behavior in relation to waste. One of the tools they are using to achieve these goals is the 3D printer. Before they learn to use the 3D printer, all the children must go out and collect plastic waste. In 3D modeling sessions, librarians teach students about the components of the plastic that the printer uses and point out the potential to use recycled plastic to make objects. They encourage students to think about environmental issues like clean air and renew energy in their design for the 3D printers. Students are now making models of eco-friendly technology, equipment, and products that do not harm the environment even used. For example, one group of students has designed a model of wind turbine for the generating electricity. The library organized the campaign with high schools in the town. Students and 9 schools are now collecting plastic waste in special containers that the library has placed in their school area. When in the 3D modeling printer provides a great opportunity to make objects with the practical and ecological value, and some ideas to recycling plastic has made me think more about the possibility of reusing the waste that the polluting our city, said one of the students after the 1 year project. And for this idea and for the awareness campaign, library received the IFEL Awards in 2017. I was the person which took the awards during the opening the Orcos Public Library. Maybe some of you know these innovative libraries in Denmark, in Europe. In the environmental initiatives, libraries collaborate with various environmental organizations partner with schools and media, and receive support by local government and business. And in the past 3 years, Global Libraries Bulgaria Foundations play an important role for the realization of dozens of projects and programs promoting environmental protections. The foundation financed Bulgarian libraries for the implementation of training programs and activities that encourage libraries consumers for responsible usage of Earth's resources. Being a community leader in environmental education, establishing environmentally friendly practices in library facilities, and increasing community awareness of environmentally friendly practices is the responsibility of every library. In the beginning of this year, after 5 years, Bulgarian has their own national strategic program regarding SDG goals. Priority 2 is Green and Sustainable Bulgaria. Library in Bulgaria expected a national plan to be developed to enable libraries to apply for the projects, to change buildings, and to introduce intelligent management solutions that save energy and resources. It was a short version of about the initiatives in Bulgaria. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions about the how make library greens, how to think greens, how to change our and the community behavior, let me know.
Thank you, Spaska, for that. It was pretty, in depth when it came to understanding the role of environmental leadership and also the environmental education. So there are two different things that are required to be able to make libraries more green.
Yeah, I think that the easier is the educational program and initiatives. It's difficult to change the libraries in Bulgaria. I don't know how in your regions, but the local and the central government, they don't give enough funds for the rethink the buildings. And in the future, I think this is one of the most important tasks for the libraries in Bulgaria. And because of that, this new national strategic plan is important for the libraries and also for the societies as all.
Right. I will ask our participants to, it's open for questions. So innovators, do ask your questions, unmute your mic, and now is your time to interact with Spaska.
Hi Tarandova, this is Almamun. I am checking from Bangladesh. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for your nice presentation. And you described about many green practices from library. Like a green classroom for children, cleaning activity, or paper for new books. It's a great activity, I think, from your public library. So my question is that obviously you need a lot of money to arrange such kind of program. So if I want to do from my library, so how can I manage funds to do such kind of activity?
I think that is not all about the funds and money. Actually, 3 years ago, we start with 3 printers. We put in one big, one middle-sized libraries, in one small libraries. Through the examples of these 3 libraries, we introduce such a topic about the recycling, need to separate collecting of the waste and so on. And somehow another library start to think about the sponsors, about the founders, and step by step now in most of the biggest libraries in Bulgaria, we have such kind of maker space with their printers and another facilities that the library use when they develop their program for the environmental education programs for children. And also simple example for the small villages, and that the librarians teach the elderly people how to make the compost. You know, this not to waste all the garbage, and they put all the food garbage in one place, and after that they produce the soil for the plants. There's many simple ways how to change the people mindset and behavior, in my opinion. But of course, the money is important, yeah. But simple steps in.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I think so. We make you can make the simple steps, and the money comes after.
So, does the library actually invest in the 3D printers because you'd like to demonstrate this change? I mean, is it bought through the government?
They bought for the beginning. We bought from the foundation side and donate to the libraries. But after that, the local government start to buy. You know that in the last year, the prices of the 3D printers go down, and we can find the cheaper solutions. And in some cities, actually, some private company bought the 3D printer. They use for their purpose, but they give to library for the public usage. And when they need some objects to be printed for them, they use these facilities. But in general, the libraries use the 3D printer for the educational purpose mainly. And if the architecture studios in Bulgaria, they usually bought the printer and donate to libraries. And it's such kind of the public-private partnerships, which is good timing.
There is sorry, who is that? I'm sorry, I can't see.
I'm Varuni from Sri Lanka. Yes. And thank you for nice presentation. Actually, we also have a maker space at the library. I want to know what are the facilities you given to the children or the people at the maker space. Can you explain, please?
Yeah, we have in the maker space, they provide also the, I don't know how exactly, such kind of the 3D pens. I don't know, you also maybe you have. And the children now is interesting in the virtual reality. So the library start to develop programs, educational programs, and with the 3D glasses. And also they bought one Box is the names, and they use in the classes on geography and it's fun for the children to imagine the earth, the rivers and mountains. It's very popular and interesting now. It was completely new when I saw 2 months ago. This Sounds Box is the name of one of the science institute in Bulgaria developed these boxes for the educational program in geography and science of earth. And now is how to say it's a little tricky. I don't know how is the situation in your country, but in Bulgaria, the libraries is not in lockdown, but they only offer the books at the moment. All the programs was stopped in the February, and we still they don't allow to make the classes for children, for adults.
Thank you.
Tarandova, can I expect another suggestions from you? Yes.
Thank you.
You have a lot of experience in library field. So I'm working as a librarian in Bangladesh. So I think it's very tough to make readers, especially what we call about readers, pure readers. So what can I do, or what services I can introduce to make more reader for my library?
Sorry, I don't catch exactly because the sound is a little.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, please repeat the question.
Okay, just I want suggestions from you that how can I make more reader for my library?
More, Priyanka, can you help me? Reader, how to make more readers?
Yeah.
Are you asking about increase in membership, or are you asking about reading as a skill? Mamu,
yeah.
Give a clarity there.
Actually, the reading is my special, how to say, I start to organize the programs, discussions, and research how to increase the number of readers in libraries, I think 10 years ago. And I think that we have 3 main points. First is the family. We have to work with the family, because if we waiting children to visit the libraries and fight for later, I think this will be difficult to have books for the children. And they give some small brochures which explain how important is the reading. And also we work a lot with the artists, because for the children it's important to make the connections with some important books and titles, and for them it's easier to expect by playing. And we invite it we call the fairy tales Saturday, and we invited some artists which played the fairy tales in front of the children. And also, and the third step is close collaborations with the schools. When the children is first ones, usually the teachers brings the classes at libraries, and they receive their first card, library card. And I think it's for the small. But when we talk about the teenagers, the problems is more complicated, in my opinion, because if this, because of that, I think that the family is very important. Because it's very difficult to make a reader one teenager which usually play only on the computer or the iPhone. They avoid the reading in general, and they think it's boring and stupid and so on. And for these groups, I think that one of the solution is to have such kind of maker space, and way they involve in activity different from reading. But if on the shelves we have the books, somehow we can provoke their interest in books. For example, you want to make this, take these books or this, and we hope to make this, to turn these young people to reading. But it's a task for every library in the world, I think. People prefer to watch or play, not to read. But it's a challenge. Is answer your question or?
Thank you, Tarandova.
Welcome.
Deepak, we can't hear you. Can you, Deepak? We're not able to hear your audio.
Spaska, I think the question. I am Neeza Singh from Chandigarh, India. I would like you to just emphasize a little more on recycling project which you just talked about collecting old for the new. Can you please throw some more light on that project?
Yeah, the idea was because you know that 3D printers use the plastic, and the idea was not to buy every time new plastic, but to teach the students to collect the plastics and to reuse the plastic.
No, I'm talking about that paper thing.
Bringing
collecting
the
old paper
for books.
It's
yeah.
It's initiatives with the company in Bulgaria, the big company, which recycling the paper. And
Okay.
I think 10 years ago, they came to libraries and asked us to make the campaign together, to ask the families to bring old paper, and the publishers provide the books. For example, if you give 5 kilo old paper, you receive 1 new book.
Okay.
And it's a very successful campaign. I think with almost 10 years, in the beginning of school years in September, we organized this campaign during the weekend. We choose one weekend before 15th of September when the school year starts. And in this way, they collect the paper and they receive 2 books. 1 or 2 is depends of how many kilos they bring to this.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Spaska, we have a question from Mr. Deepak. He is asking, how do Bulgarian libraries design eco-friendly technology? How do you design eco-friendly technology?
I think that it's very important to build the partnerships in with the non-government organizations or schools or scientifics, because it's not so easier to develop such kind of programs only with the knowledge like librarians. Because of that, the partnership is very important. Usually the idea comes from libraries, sometimes from the non-government organizations. We have a lot of in Bulgaria, and for them it's easier to reach the auditory through the libraries, because people bring people from with different backgrounds, and for the some educational programs by university or NGOs or other training organizations, it's easier to reach the community by the public libraries. And it's important to make the partnership with different organizations in developing of programs.
So this question comes from me basically. When you talk about partnership, Spaska, does that mean like you have a central library and then you decentralize the services through other libraries, or do you just work in one particular provincial space in your country? How does it work in terms of, is it independently done partnership with respective libraries, or is it collectively done and then it branches out to the rest of them?
It's done separately from libraries. Every libraries find the partners. The regional libraries, they provide mostly the training for librarians and the programs regarding reading. But these innovative programs and services, usually libraries doing by projects, or if they find partnerships in the local area.
So, so that means it works both ways. Partners are accessible to the libraries. They come and ask for projects that can be executed. At the same time, librarians independently write projects and they get projects for their libraries, depending on what.
For example, they apply to Global Libraries Bulgaria Foundation's grant programs, but also they have many other opportunities to apply with the projects, but they don't receive from the central or the local government funds for such kinds of programs. They receive for the staff and they receive for the books, now we start to talk about the e-books during the COVID lockdown, how libraries to provide the e-books, because at that moment with the publishers don't sell the e-books.
Right. And our innovator from Myanmar, Kia, asks about, does the Bulgarian government support the library sector?
Yes.
And in order to form eco-friendly libraries around the nation?
Not for the programs. Government supports the libraries for expenditure of the staff and for the main services and library services. But for all the other programs, the local government usually supports such kind of program or private organization.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question. I think it's pretty much, it's good to know that the local government actually provides some amount of support for local programs. I think in South Asia, for us, it's like, well, our innovators can add, but at least in the Indian context, we get some amount of funding only to run the main services, but the remaining programs has to be done with local partnerships.
Yeah, I think so. In the future, the central government will receive money, or I think only for the salary of the staff. But all other activities will be supported by the local authority. Because actually the library serve of the local community and they know better the needs, and to convince the local authority is easier than the central government.
Yeah. Anybody else has any questions to ask? I also wanted to ask, like, as a library, do you have like an annual service planner which you do in terms of, you have these sustainable development goals and environment is one of the key areas that you're focusing on. Do you have any kind of like a system where all librarians come up with a plan, a yearly plan saying, this is how we're going to contribute, or is it usually just, you know, you randomly pick up services depending on what the demand is from the community? How do you do the internal planning for the libraries?
Actually, I think in the next year and in the future, after the national CDG's goals plan, we start to make such kind of plans for libraries. Till now, we only give the evidence to government how libraries support the SDG goals, but not with the concrete plan. For example, for the access to information, we are going to do this and this. We usually provide the access to information in different ways, and we give the examples. See how libraries improve the literacy level through the access to information, but we don't have such kind of strict plan. But after these national programs, I hope, and we talk in the library associations to make the plan and to give the examples, but with some evidence to calculate how the library contributes SDG goals through the services. And I find one very nice source in Spanish. The Library Association in Spanish developed the calculator of the value of the services and of libraries. And when we put information in this calculator about the services, they give how it's contribute the welfare society. I can share and we can check, but it's very nice to
That's
how to demonstrate SDG goals support by libraries.
right. That's very interesting. I think we ourselves will be interested to know how the tool can be used. Didn't know that.
Yeah,
you
know that.
Value your services.
Yeah, you know that they all the time ask about evidence.
Right.
How you change? What happened? And if I put $1, how I receive? And the American Library Associations is very good in this to show how library contribute the society. And
okay,
it's time to find the evidence.
Right.
Everyone knows that the libraries is a value, but sometimes it's about the money.
Yes.
The conversations.
Yeah. Yes. Another person from Sri Lanka, Damika, has asked, have you provided mobile library services for your communities?
Not, because we have a lot of small libraries in the villages, and that time we don't have mobile libraries. But after the COVID, they start. I mean, the regional and the biggest cities libraries start to think to organize such kind of mobile libraries to bring the books to people. But at that time, we don't have Usually the librarians in small villages, they bring the books by bicycles or walking to some elderly people, but it's not ordinary servers. It depends of librarians.
So the librarian has to be innovative. If it's required, then you execute it.
Yeah.
Right. The other person is Tanda from Myanmar. She's asking, have you partnered with any INGOs, international non-governmental organizations, to execute any project? Do you have any partners?
You mean the global libraries or the Global Libraries Bulgaria Foundation is a part of the European network of ITC centers. Is the all digital names of the organizations. Is the organizations which based in Brussels, and 66 organizations from the Europe is a part of this network, and we apply together in different programs. For example, lately we implement the programs about the media literacy in the family. And also now we implement another project about the new skills for librarians from small community libraries. We will develop some programs to teach the librarians how to transform their work to digital environment.
So when you talk about libraries, one question that's come from Maldives, our librarian Maha, she asks, do you have street libraries? If yes, how do you manage them?
What kind of libraries?
Street libraries?
Actually, it's not managed. It's mainly like book crossing. It's not. I don't say it's a street library. It's a book crossing area where people can put the books and don't take care about the books. Who is going to take and in which another place they will return. And it's different to street. It's not a street library. It's the free books.
Yeah, it's free books. So you just have shelves where you just leave the books and then anybody can take, and it goes on circulation. There's no rules about it. It's
not a library service yet.
Right. Yes. One of our innovator asks, how can we apply for these different types of awards? There are different awards that are available around the world. How do we apply for that is another question our innovator
you have to check the website of FIFLA and also website of IFEL. I think that the campaign for this year finished, in my opinion. It was the deadline was 16th of November, but usually in the second part of the year they announce the awards, and it's good to apply because they are looking for the projects from all over the world. It doesn't matter how big is the library; it's about the service.
Okay, it seems like most of us are done with our questions. So I think we shall close the session as planned.
May I ask about how the libraries deal with the COVID in your countries?
Yes, absolutely. There are a few of us, a few of our innovators who are actively engaged in meeting with the communities and looking at how they can ensure the divide is kind of like minimized by using technology. We have Deepak from India. He is in one of the provinces called Rajasthan. He has a library that he's working with extensively. So he's used WhatsApp as a medium to deliver PDF files to communities, and they're able to connect and read a lot of the local books in the local languages. That's one thing that he had shared, and it was pretty popular as soon as he started in the month of May, and it still continues. And he says it's overflowing with more than 500 readers, and he's forced to open 2 to 3 more groups the moment that they started. So it's pretty, it's become very popular in his place. So that's one way of doing it. I think the other librarians should actually contribute here. I'm just sharing because I think Deepak is not having his audio ready. But yes, others, please do contribute. If what work you're doing during COVID times, she can take back some examples as well from here.
Actually, Sri Lanka
Okay.
also we do sharing PDF books through Facebook and Blogspot, and we also created WhatsApp group with children and adults, and at the same time we are conducting online sessions weekly. So every time we keep contact with our readers.
Are the libraries closed?
Closed, but our reference and study areas are open. We do reference services, and we get queries, lot of queries from our community, and we share this through with emails and WhatsApp. And for the periodicals, what we do is we use a Telegram app. Through the Telegram app, we provide our periodical service, content page and the cover page. When after going, one particular reader can go through the content page. When he asks the article, we provide through WhatsApp.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So most of the libraries have been closed until I think July, August, and some of them have been opened only a little later than that. And I think some of them, I think Nisa can say they've had very strict methodology. They've really tightened the process of how they've allowing even the book to be quarantined over a period of time, and then a cyclic process. So yeah, there are,
yeah. So initially it was absolutely closed, but now when we have it, so there is a quarantine period for books as well. We quarantine them for 2 hours before we put the books back onto the shelves. And initially, since March end and April first week, been very active on Facebook. So we did a lot of competitions. We did a family poster making competition because that was the time when everybody was just docked up or locked up in their homes. Nobody could move out. So it was a family poster making competition, and started poetry nation, in which all the entries that we received, each one entry was on the Facebook page. So it was just to bring life, you can say. And we had other poetry things. We invited poets and all the same time. Then during this time, many people were depressed, and more of tobacco taking was taking place. So we organized a webinar for that. So a lot of online activities. And another thing which we did at the end of the book was another unique thing. We partnered with another 2 libraries from India, and we did a program on festivals of India. Priyanka was also there in that. So that was also a very thing in which children from different regions, from the north and south of India, shared their cultures and the way in which they celebrate their festivals. Because that was the time, November end was the season, festival season in India. So these kind of initiatives we kept doing. We do have WhatsApp groups. And another thing, we did home delivery of books senior citizens, because many of them, they aren't very good with IT or digital reading and all that. So catered to that lot, to the senior citizens, home delivery of books even during the lockdown.
Thank you.
Priyanka, can I share what
Yes.
we do for the quarantine of
Yes.
books.
Yes.
Actually, we are using ozone generator machine. It's a small machine. We collect all the return books into a room and switch on the machine only for half an hour. After that, we can directly get the books. That is very easy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we don't have put the books in. We don't have enough space for quarantine the books.
Yeah.
So
I
we
think
use the
many libraries start to build such kind of cleaning machines for the books, and in Europe it's popular now, and a lot of libraries buy, in Bulgaria also start to buy, because some of the machines the books stay only 1 minute, and after that they can borrow again.
Thank you so much, Spaska. Today was pretty much an eye-opener for me as well. I personally love the whole idea of environmental education, but I learned today the importance of environmental leadership. And I think it's a big takeaway for me, and I'm sure even the innovators would agree that while they are trailblazing for their communities as their own leaders, having their own spark, I think environmental leadership is another hat that they can choose to wear whenever they feel the need to take care of their community and the natural resources that's there with them. And yeah, today's presentation was interesting. The dialogue was great. Thank you for contributing and sharing your ways from Bulgaria. I think it's an eye opener for all of us. While there remains those challenges of funding, and it's a story we hear not just in Indian spaces or in Sri Lanka or in Bangladesh, it exists everywhere. It's a big takeaway for us. But I think by the end of the day, it's trying to innovate, look for partnerships, and see how we can make it better for the communities and for the libraries that we're serving. And so thank you so much, Spaska. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you,
you.
all colleagues, for your patience, and we'll be in contact.
Yes.
I hope to see on some conference in the future, not only online events, but face-to-face.
Yeah, yeah. We hope so.
Yeah.
We must. Yeah.
It's
Stay in touch. I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll make this video available on the MOOC platform so that all of you can have access and you can revisit and listen to this presentation of Spaska's again. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we will see you on the 23rd.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know the timing is a little tough, but we do have wonderful speakers, and we really want you to learn more and grow with the different topics. And next topic is very much in alignment with what Spaska said. Build evidence. We need evidence. Only
yeah. Okay.
A fantastic speaker. He's working extensively for in the field of education, and we'll get to hear from his perspective what it means to work with data and building evidence. So yeah, all of you, we'll see you on 23rd evening. Take care. Good night.
Take care. Bye. Happy seasons.